Yeah, community outreach sometimes sounds like such a daunting task. Like, where do you start? And I wonder if maybe we have some listeners who are working in other countries, maybe people who are interested in spreading awareness in their community. Where would you say is a good place to start?
Yeah, there's two groups of people. There are two groups of people that I think are important to start with when you're, especially in a community where there's very limited understanding of autism and what it is. The first group is parents. It's really just, if there's a center that exists, so like with our partners, one of the first goals I want to work on with them before we even go down the social media path, before we go down the path of creating community events, is what are your parents feeling? How are they talking to their, if they have a teenager or young adult, how are they talking to their teenager or young adult about their autism? Are they kind of supporting that teenager or young adult to become a self-advocate? And if not, how do we empower the parents to empower their child to get out into the community and be the self-advocate that community needs? Because I think that's a really important key component, is to get people with autism talking about autism in these communities. So it's not just parents and teachers and, people that don't have firsthand experience, no matter what. I don't know what it's like to be a parent of a kid with autism, and I certainly don't know what it's like to be a person with autism. So I think phase one is finding out where the parents are, and making sure that they're priming their kids, they're prepping their kids to get out in the world and use their voice in a way that makes an impact. And I think the next step as well, aside from the parent group, is the teachers / future teachers of that community. So doing presentations at universities for people that are studying to become service providers, to become educators, to become psychologists, the people that are going to be working directly with the autistic community in that space, I think is incredibly important, especially early on in their career, because they need the type of communication and training and support to understand that their role is, again, not to hide autism, but to empower autism. And if we can kind of focus on the outreach and the language that we're using with those communities that are supporting autistic people, to be focused on empowering them and preparing them to get out into the world, to use their voice and be an example and a model of what's possible with autism, in the same way, Rusty, that you do, by getting out there and speaking multiple languages and sharing your story and showing people what's possible with autism. I think that's the future of outreach.
Very cool.
I'd agree with you, Cassie, because outreach is, and Rachel too, because outreach is really important for individuals on the autism spectrum, especially in places throughout the world where there are limited services.
Yeah, and I think communities are desperate to hear from autistic people. They don't need to hear secondhand accounts from parents and teachers. I mean, those are helpful in so many different communities and levels. But I think if we really want to expand the story of what's possible with autism, which is so much, I have so many friends and colleagues and loved ones who are autistic that are thriving with autism. And that's the story that I think needs to be at the forefront. And all of our outreach efforts need to be focused on ensuring that story not only remains at the forefront, but can grow and expand.
Yeah, for sure. You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments section. Click here to watch this interview in its entirety. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.